Leonardo Ventini is an employee in a government archive, specializing in organizing and reviewing documents related to cases and arranging files. He spent his entire life among files and legal cases. But on December 20th, 2000, everything changed. That day, there was an overwhelming amount of work, and he had to stay overnight in the storage room. After finishing his work, Leonardo fell asleep, and it was the worst night of his life. It was as if the words written in the files had turned into reality before his eyes. Every drop of blood, every victim, every killer appeared in front of him as if they were real. He could not tell whether he was dreaming or if this was reality. Everything seemed normal until the clock struck 1 o'clock. At that moment, he became the victim in every case. Do you think the story ends here? The moment the clock struck 1, Leonardo found himself in a completely different place. In Antinguista Street, in a strange location he had never been to before. The people were different. The cars were different. Very old cars. He did not understand what was happening or whether this was a dream or reality. But the strange thing was that he was holding a file labeled Johann Meiner. That file was supposed to be in the archive storage. Yet its condition was brand new, as if it had just been written. Leonardo walked through the street, lost, not knowing where he was or why he was there. After wandering for about an hour or more, he remembered that he was carrying a case file, one that did not feel unfamiliar at all. He decided to sit somewhere and open the file. He discovered that it was a case file from the year 1966, and it was marked "Case registered against an unknown suspect." He opened the first page and saw a photograph of a girl. On the next page was another photo of the same girl dead. At that exact moment, he heard someone calling his name from the other side of the street. He stood up and crossed the road when suddenly a car nearly hit him. In that instant, he was transported back to the archive storage, and the clock read 7 a.m. Leonardo realized that what was happening was not normal, and that he had not been dreaming. He got up and searched for the file, looking everywhere until he finally found it. But the strange thing was that it was not in the same condition. So, had Leonardo really not been dreaming? He opened it and saw the same photos and the same handwriting. Yet, he said to himself, "I have never opened this file before." He stood there, thinking about what was happening. Why him? Why now? Was it because of lack of sleep? No, something was definitely wrong. He read the file and then fell asleep again in a strange way, as if sleep had been forced upon him. He returned to the same place, but this Chimi the girl was there with him. He looked at her and said, "Where am I? I don't understand anything." She replied, "I came to you because I want to rest. You must help me." Shocked, he said, "Explain it to me, I don't understand anything." She began to explain that the one who killed her was still alive, and that he must face his fate so that she could finally rest. Leonardo understood that he had been chosen, that this was not a dream, and that sleep was the only connection between him and that world. She told him everything and handed him an audio recording containing the killer's full confession of everything that had happened. Then she disappeared once again. Leonardo woke up, and to his shock, the tape was still in his hand. At that moment, he realized that he had to act. This was not just a dream. He began gathering information about the killer and his place of residence. After extensive research, he discovered that the killer's location was the same as his own home. What did that mean? Who in his house could have done such a thing? The only person who lived there was his father. He went and asked many questions and discovered that someone had lived in the house before his father moved in. But he could not find any further information. He returned to work and listened to the tape, only to discover that the girl's body was still in the house. Still in the house, how was that possible? He decided to take sleeping pills and once again returned to the other world, where he met the girl immediately. She told him that she was buried beneath the entire house and that she wanted nothing but revenge on her killer. She did not want to change her place. All she wanted was justice. He woke up to the voice of a coworker and kept thinking about what he was supposed to do. He continued searching for any information about the killer, confirmed the new address, and finally reached him. The killer was a man around 60 years old, who appeared kind and harmless. Leonardo spoke with him casually, then returned home. He decided to submit the tape to the court, but how would he explain where he got it from? An idea came to him. He wrote a letter, placed the tape and the letter inside an envelope, and sent it anonymously to the police. The case was reopened. After further investigation, the court sentenced the killer to death by hanging. And in this way, the girl finally received justice from her killer.